What is going on, FG3000? Back in the place to be, and welcome back to the mobile gaming recap. Let's start this bad boy off with some Hoyo news. One breath, FG, I'm still going. Honkai Star Rail during their Gamescom presentation showed off their Fate Stay Night collaboration, you know, the one that's coming way out in 2025. However, this time was a little bit different because this teaser came with a voiceover from none other than who we think is Archer. Now, dude, a lot of players are speculating that this collaboration is most likely gonna have Archer, Saber, and Gilgamesh. Dude, if Gilgamesh is added to Honkai Star Rail, I gotta come back. But you don't have to wait until 2025 when that collaboration hits, because Genshin Impact is gonna keep you mad busy. The 5.0 update is about to arrive on August the 28th. Now, this is a major numbered update. A lot of gacha companies out there always make their biggest updates on the 1.1, 2.0, 3.0, etc. With the 5.0 update of Genshin Impact, you can expect the 6th major region added to the game, Natlan. 3 new characters, the ability to transform, explore, of course, new quests, a 5-star selector ticket, 1600 Primo Gem, top-up bonuses are going to be reset, and all of that for existing and returning Genshin Impact players sounds extremely solid. But for me, as a person that doesn't play Genshin Impact, I gotta say, like, I really took to this like comic book outline vibe that they have going on in the trailer, so much so, dude, I re-downloaded Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact and Honkai FG? Dude, I guess I'm gonna be busy for a while. But I ain't gonna be the only person busy, because a legion of Xbox players are finally gonna be able to play Genshin Impact on November the 20th. Yes, Genshin Impact is coming to Xbox. ZZZ also updated to version 1.1 Undercover RB. I love that name. This update included new characters, new engines, new bang boos, new story, new areas, and a character by the name of Jane who is already making her rounds across lots of different subreddits. And I ain't just talking about the official ZZZ ones. You know which ones I'm talking about. So as you can see, the Hoyoverse is quite large and quite active, but they ain't done yet. There is an upcoming Hoyoverse game that is rumored to be called Astraia Heaven, but because Hoyoverse loves to take down videos, I'm just gonna keep it at that. I ain't gonna show off nothing besides this little icon right here. But what I can say this early on is that rumor has it that this game is gonna take like an Animal Crossing Stardew Valley vibe, which I am absolutely all for. It feels like Hoyoverse is just trying to collect all the Infinity Stones of every genre of mobile game that they can go for. And you know what? Hey, let's get it. So between Honkai Star Rail, Impact 3rd, Genshin Impact, ZZZ, this next coming Astraia Heaven, it feels like once Hoyoverse is done putting all the Infinity Stones in one glove, they're just gonna switch hands and keep going, because they are expanding their headquarters. Why is this news? I don't know, but they are expanding their headquarters a whole kilometer. What's that in freedom units? About a little less than a mile, you know what I'm saying? But it is clear based on their current catalog, their upcoming catalog, the expansion to their headquarters, all of the hiring they're doing, Hoyoverse is going to be around for a very long time. Now, before we jump into general mobile gaming news, we just had Gamescom 2024. Now, there weren't a lot of mobile games shown outside of Hoyoverse, but there were a few. We saw a brand new trailer for the upcoming game Tribe 9, which I covered just recently. Infinity Nikki also showed up at Gamescom, a game that I cannot avoid ads for. This is supposed to be a cozy open world game, but don't expect too much combat. It's more of like a dress up, decorate, mini game type of experience. Dark and Darker Mobile was also showed off at Gamescom with a trailer that seemed to be a little bit more lighthearted and zany than the game actually is, which I think is an odd choice, but whatever. Then lastly, Squid Games by Netflix was also showed off a bit late to the party, because it seems as if Stumble Guys almost dominates mobile. Fall Guys has finally made its appearance on mobile just recently via the Epic Game Store, which I'll be covering in the coming days. So we'll see if Squid Games and its name recognition can get any type of traction on mobile. But considering that it is a Netflix game and you have to have a Netflix account, kind of limits the reach of the game just a little bit. So those were the 4 mobile games outside of the Hoyoverse that were actually showed off at Gamescom, and for me, that's kind of a big deal to see these lower budget mobile games make an appearance at such a big show like Gamescom, which is typically focused on PC and console. And at least for me, the stream that I was watching on YouTube, when those mobile gaming trailers showed up, it wasn't like a spam of comments saying, oh my god, a mobile game, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was kind of like neutral negative. Neutral negative. It's normally like all negative, right? It used to be, but now it's neutral negative. Progress, baby. Solo Leveling Arise continues to be extremely active, celebrating their 100-day anniversary. In addition to that, guilds have finally been added to the game, but I didn't see anything super special about guilds. There's not like a guild boss or anything like that. That's supposed to be future content. I still do not understand why so many games launch with absolutely no guild functionality, and then when you finally do get guild functionality, it's basically a glorified check-in. Whatever. Hopefully guild functionality comes sooner rather than later, because this game will be launching on Steam coming very soon, and you know how them Steam reviews do. WooW has recently upgraded to version 1.2. In this version update, expect brand new 5-star characters, one of them being free. You love that. Other features of this patch include the ability to finally store excess wave plates, aka stamina. There's also a return to game event, so if you're one of those many mobile players out there that couldn't play WooW due to performance issues, it might be a really good time to check back into the game because there's been lots of fixes since then. But it's not just fixes, it's also enhancements. 120 frames per second mode, RTX is on if you have an NVIDIA card, I don't. And finally, they added a gun utility so you can shoot things without having to switch your party members around. Now for me personally, these last couple of months were just a little too busy to dedicate to an open world RPG like WooW, but bruh, I'm coming back tonight. Starting tomorrow, Nikkei Goddess of Victories unleashing their latest collaboration, this time with Evangelion, which I think is kind of a curious collaboration to go for because those characters aren't really like Nikkei type characters. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. But I know this anime and this franchise has tons of fans, so I'm sure this collaboration is gonna be just fine. I'm really curious though, Nikkei, why not a Bayonetta collaboration, dude? In the world of fan servicey gacha games, the fact that Bayonetta is not a more common collaboration is just bonkers to me. Like, I don't get it. The last time we had a Bayonetta collaboration in gacha games was last Claudia. You know what that tells me? It ain't that expensive. Nikkei, you could have absolutely afforded a Bayonetta collab. Come on now. We also recently saw the launch of a brand new gacha game that I feel like is going to be around for a good long time, Sword of KValeria. This game with almost no name recognition has already amounted 5 million downloads. Now those 5 million downloads I assume are mostly mobile players, but this game is also on PC Steam as well, and even on Steam it actually has a pretty solid player base considering it's a mobile gacha game. And because it's a mobile gacha game first that just happens to be on Steam, usually the reviews are not kind at all, but dude, this game is maintaining a mostly positive review as well. And I would have to assume that most of those positive reviews come on the back of the gameplay mode called the Spiral of Destinies. For the most part, when I hear something positive about this game, it's usually tied to the Spirals of Destiny gameplay mode. This is a story-driven gameplay mode that feels more like a single-player game. And not just a few players, a lot of players have basically said, yo, I wish they would have dedicated more time to this gameplay mode and not the gacha. Now I hear that, and I hear you, but let's be real. If this game came out for $29.99, about 85% of the players out there would not be playing it, right? So, you know, the gacha giveth and the gacha taketh away. And to kind of put this whole thing in perspective, to get this many downloads in this short a time, 5 million downloads, AFK Journey just hit 10 million. I know that's double, but think about it. AFK Journey comes from a well-known publisher with well-known name recognition, and it took them this long to get 10. Sword of KValeria just came out, what, like a couple of weeks ago, and it already hit 5? That's really impressive. And no shade to AFK Journey, I was just using it as an example. The new character y'all just launched looks cool. Y'all doing fishing mini games. It looks great over there. Keep it up. And also no shade whatsoever for Reverse 1999. Looking at this 1.8 update, dude, this is a game that I really wish I enjoyed playing because every single time they drop an update, I'm just like looking at the art and the graphics and the characters and the animations. I'm like, dude, this game just looks like phenomenal. I wish I loved this game as much as I love like looking at it from the outside looking in, you know what I'm saying? And speaking of the outside looking in, you Summoners War players just having so much fun, dude. I feel like the SpongeBob meme, just looking out the window, everyone having a good time, laughing and playing with Patrick, bruh. I can't go back to Summoners Wars, no, I can't. This is the collab that I should have gone back to Summoners War, but I don't want to go back to Summoners War, right? Like, I feel like that ship has already sailed. But yo, shout out to Summoners War players out there. Y'all are eating with this collaboration. Otherworld Legends in their 6-year anniversary has this really cool, like, Wild West theme, which I'm really a fan of. And what is becoming, or will become, a standard feature in gacha games. Like, I already know it. Like, this time in 2025, almost all games are gonna have these risque dorm features, right? These like interactive dorms. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Otherworld Legends. But all that aside, the question that I have for Otherworld Legends players out there, why are y'all's waifus so clumsy? Why? Why does it seem that y'all's waifus are constantly spilling suspiciously colored liquid all over the bosoms? Why? Why is that a thing? Oh, it's cake frosting? That's what it is. It's cake frosting. Just, all right. And we might as well keep the fan service going. If you thought Snowbreak Containment Zone was gonna take a break after its 1-year anniversary celebration, bruh, you thought wrong. Tomorrow on August 22nd, there's yet another update starring a brand new operative. Now this operative has a really interesting gun. It's part pistol, part like DSLR camera. So while you getting shot, she uploading you getting shot straight to TikTok as it happened. But in addition to a brand new operative, this weapon, there are new areas and a new boss to tackle. 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross Ragnarok 4.5 update is looking mighty inviting with Lady Thor up here, but not enough for me to come back, unfortunately. And if you're like me and you kind of miss 7 Deadly Sins, but you don't want to go back to Grand Cross, give 7 Deadly Sins Idle a try. I've been playing it. I paid for the ad removal package and it made my gameplay experience, you know, good enough. Yes, it's an idle game, but I got to admit, when it comes to idle games of this type, of these types of idle games, it's probably one of the better ones that I played in a long time, but I know a lot of that bias comes from the fact that I know the characters and I enjoy collecting them. And so far, the game only has one gameplay mode that feels like a chore. Everything else is just kind of just chill and idle. Now, if you want to know more about 7 Deadly Sins Idle, I just did my first impression just a few days ago. I also included a Netmarbleau, not Netmarble, don't sue me. I also included a Netmarbleau skit in there just for giggles. Check it out. I had a good time with it. Final Fantasy War of the Visions just announced a collaboration with Trials of Mana in Japan. Now, a global announcement of this collaboration has not been made yet, but chances are this collaboration will be coming global because there's one thing that Square loves to do. Square loves to collab with Square. I guess it's just cheap. And while I was doing research for Final Fantasy War of the Visions, I did a little pit stop over at Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. Now, I don't have any major patch updates or anything like that to report, but something that caught my eye while I was over there being nosy is that community has an active group of players that basically specialize in running low-level or low-power players through high-level co-op boss encounters. Yes, so basically how it works, if you're a player out there and you're struggling with some of the hardest co-op content, you'll join their Discord, and as long as you meet some minimum requirements, some high-level players, some whales over there will basically run you through the co-op content so that you can get your achievements, which I think is just really awesome, right? And this is why I'm such a big advocate when it comes to gacha game communities, guilds, live co-op content, things of that nature, because during those moments is really when the community actually galvanizes and comes together. It's a bit sad that even here in 2024, that most of the gacha games that we play are glorified single-player games with cash shops, you know what I'm saying? So I always love to see an active community with active online co-op features coming together and helping out their fellow players, right? Now, one thing FG loves when it comes to gacha games is barbarian waifus and quality of life, and Astron Knights of Vita has both. Astron Knights of Vita is adding a brand new character by the name of Gabby who looks fantastic, but most importantly, they're adding sweep functionality to a majority of the content in the game. That's nice. Another Eden, for some reason, is doing a King of Fighters collaboration. I don't know, we'll take it. The collaboration characters include Kaio, Terry Bogard, Maybay, and Miss Diamond herself. Pokemon Masters is celebrating its 5-year anniversary. Dude, I don't even know the last time I even thought about this game, but 5 years going strong. They're gonna be announcing a ton of details on August the 24th, so stay tuned to the next episode of the Mobile Gaming Recap. Limbus Company, after weeks of drip marketing, has finally revealed Wild Hunt Heathcliff. Now, this character, dude, has some absolutely sick art and design, and if you're in the mood for some light reading, 2 full pages of this guy's skill kit. 2 pages of his skill kit. Dude, Limbus Company gamers are some gamers for real. With Tower Fantasy's 2-year anniversary, as you can see, they're going full speed ahead with all this dorm room interactivity nonsense. But I gotta admit, even with all her clothes on, Nola is looking quite legit. And they're really just getting started because on August 29th, there's even more summertime events underway. Am I ever gonna be able to talk about Brown Does 2 without blurring the trailer? Am I ever? And if all of that is not enough to fill your summer up, Eversoul is also rerunning their last year's summer event. And yeah, that's not the greatest, but if you weren't playing Eversoul back then, this does give you the opportunity to collect some of those limited time costumes. COLLABS, in addition to adding a brand new character by the name of Osiris, just wants to ask you one simple question. Do you accept the Boba challenge? The Boba challenge, is that what we're doing? This is gacha games, man. This is what we are now, the Boba challenge. Why they put her boba right there? They couldn't put the boba in her hands. They just had to put the boba in the booba. Dan Memo Battle Chronicles somehow limped its way to a 1-year anniversary. Has it really been 1 year? You can expect a brand new dungeon, login bonuses, and over 300 free summons. In a game that only fascinates me at this point, One Punch Man World is still completely inactive, completely in maintenance mode, but we do know that a new development team has been assigned to the game. So will we actually see this game spring back to life here soon? You never know, but rest assured, I'm gonna be keeping a lookout for it. Clash of Clans is getting a little taste of anime, which I'm absolutely digging. Not gonna come back to the game though, but it looks good. Marvel Contest of Champions, a game that has been out for a very long time. And when a game has been out for that long, you have to expect that some of the early heroes are gonna fall by the wayside when it comes to the meta. That's to be expected. But basically something that Kabam does over there is that they hold a community vote, basically voting on who they want to see reworked. And this particular vote came down to Doctor Strange and Cyclops. Cyclops won. So now Kabam is gonna get to work to see what they can do to make Cyclops relevant in the meta again. But this is what I found funny. I incorrectly assumed that this vote was all for show and they were gonna rework both Cyclops and Doctor Strange, but no, dude. Doctor Strange lost, you're not getting reworked, sucker, see you later. It's literally just Cyclops. I just thought that was funny. And before we leave the Marvel world, Marvel Strike Force also had a pretty major graphics update, but it's getting some pretty mixed reviews from the players. Yes, the game looks better technically, but a lot of players are complaining that the graphics are a little too shiny, a little too glowy, and if you have an older phone, the performance is absolutely atrocious. To me personally, it just seems weird because Marvel Strike Force, their graphics have never been an issue, so it seems just kind of like, why was this a priority when there are so many other things that Marvel Strike Force can absolutely be working on? Star Wars Hunters is a game that I had a lot of positive things to say about, but even in my first impressions on day one, I said, yo, these games live and die by their matchmaking. When you make a PvP only mobile game, you are really rolling the dice of the future of your company, hoping that the matchmaking stays healthy to make sure, number one, to make sure that the matchmaking is fast and fair, and number two, the matchmaking actually has humans in it. And unfortunately with this season 2 update, the complaints of so many matches, including ranked matches, being filled with bots is starting to increase. And you know what happens when that starts to become an issue, right? Players get frustrated because they're only playing with bots, so they leave, making the other players have to deal with more bots and more bots and more bots. It's a vicious cycle. So hopefully Star Wars Hunters has something in mind to bring players back to the game. And just like 5 o'clock happy hour, there's always an anniversary somewhere. Kona Superba Fantastic Days is celebrating its 3-year anniversary. Players can expect 350 summons via continuous login bonuses and a pretty neat darkness variant. I like it. So remember how I talked about Square loves to collab with Square? Also, Capcom loves to collab with Capcom. So Street Fighter Duel is doing a Street Fighter 6 collaboration, but the actual release date has not been revealed just yet. Tarsland Season 1 update just dropped today, but instead of players talking about all of the new exciting things coming with this season, most of the community is talking about how dead the game is and all of the many things that went wrong with the launch, unfortunately. That's really not a good sign if that's the overall player temperament on Season 1. Now I know at least 7 of you guys out there were holding back on playing Invincible Guarding the Globe until they added Arena PvP. And guess what? They finally added Arena PvP. I just don't understand these games. I just don't understand these game companies releasing games with such basic features being missing and not added to the game for months. But hey, if you want to play Arena PvP, it's finally in the game. Now there's a game by the name of Otherworld Legends, which is basically an action RPG roguelike before action RPG roguelikes became like a dime a dozen. Now this game is brought to you by the developer Chili Room. You might know them from the Soul Knight series. Now the reason why we're talking about this game today is that it is celebrating its 4-year anniversary, and you know how many games EOS and shut down in record time. So any game that can make it to a 4-year anniversary like this needs to be celebrated. So if you want to check out an action RPG roguelike, give this one a try. With the 4-year anniversary, there are 2 new characters and of course login bonuses galore. You know what, screw it, I'm reading my notes on this one. My Hero Academia, the movie, your next movie mashup event is underway in My Hero Academia Ultra Impact. And this is right alongside this game's 2.5-year anniversary. So you can expect, of course, login bonuses filled with hero gems, increased drop rates, and much more. Now, Lord of the Heroes, truth be told, even when this game was brand new, I was barely playing it. Back then, they had an anti-emulator stance, and I was like, dude, I ain't playing no mobile game like this without no emulator. Now, obviously, since then, they walked that statement back, but I have not kept up with Lord of the Heroes, so I don't really know if this is like a big deal or not, but the community is extremely excited about this new patch update, calling it one of the larger, best updates that this game has seen in a long time. So maybe if you're curious about Lord of the Heroes, check it out on your own. Real helpful, FG. Hey dude, I led you to the water, drink it yourself. Light of the Stars, a game that I covered a few months ago, it was pretty average, but they are doing a new player campaign. Now keep that in mind. new players, not returning players, but if you are a new player, instantly upon logging in, you will get 210 summons along with an SSR selector ticket. Why there's not a returning player bonus, an existing player bonus, whatever, but if you're brand new, you never played the game before, or you want to re-roll, here's your opportunity to not jump back in, here's your opportunity to play Light of the Stars for the very first time. For the rapid fire section for today's video, we're gonna be focused on EOS games. You ready? Code Geass shutting down on August the 29th. World Flipper shut down on July 25th. Mega Man Global shut down on July 30th. RPG Ecstasy shut down on August the 1st. Mortal Kombat Onslaught is shut down. Brave 9, aka Brown Dust #1, shutting down at the end of December. Alice Fiction shutting down September the 30th. Now I know that's a lot of EOS games, my fellow gacha players, but not to worry. Even through the ashes, we will rise again. Like a phoenix, FG? No, not like a phoenix. Like a kitten. We will rise again like a kitten because Cat Fantasy, my friends, Cat Fantasy is here.